Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning to my channel. I am Valery Molone, personal development coach and motivational speaker. Today I wanted to take this time and talk to you guys about everyday stress. Last month, 3 weeks ago actually, it was a very hectic week for me because my dog had a stroke and he lost both function of his back leg. He's okay now. But it was the most hardest time in my life because he's only 5 years old and he had a stroke, and they told me that he might not going to be able to walk ever again. And it kind of like came in out of nowhere, and life was okay, everything was okay, and all of a sudden you hear this thing happen, and I've never dealt with that before, so I was very stressed and overwhelmed through the whole 3 weeks. I took time off from work just to stay with him at home and take him to the hospital, back and forth and all of that. But it was really difficult time for me. And during that time, I just thought about you guys and thought about in general how people can cope with everyday stress. Because stress, we don't really pay attention to everyday stress. Sometimes we know that some people after a while they get overwhelmed and they realize they're stressed and they're saying to themselves, I'm very stressed. But understand that stress develops over a period of time. And everyday stress can turn to a chronic illness, depression, anxiety, panic attack. All of that happens when you get stressed almost every other day, and it's just over small stuff or even big stuff, and you don't really realize it, and you just deal with it at that day, and you go on to the next day, and the next thing you know, a week later or a month later, you're not really physically feeling good, you're not really being yourself, and you're wondering what it is, and you go to the doctor and you do all these tests and check up, and realizing that it is really your health and you being stressed. And stress can cause so much damage to your health. And it's really unfortunate because the symptom of a stress is not something that you can right away tell that is stress. Because you can actually have a body ache, you can have a headache, you can faint even sometime. And you think that, you know, it's other stuff, but when you go and spend so much time in the doctor's office and realizing all this stuff, and they tell you that, well, you are stressed. So I want to talk to you guys about that today, and since I've been through it and I know how hard it is, and for those of you out there that are feeling stress over work, family obligation, even like getting up in the morning and driving to work and getting stuck in the traffic and getting stressed, or coming home and not having a time to do things that you want to do and you're getting stressed, or you're thinking that the day is going too fast, the week is going too fast, and you're not accomplishing things that you're supposed to accomplish, and that can put a lot of pressure and stress on you. But the thing is that you don't know, you don't realize it, you just keep about going your day and you don't realize it. So I have a 4 strategy that you can use every single day to deal with everyday stress. I don't care how big the stress is or how small it is. It's very important to realize that when you feel uncomfortable with yourself and you feel that you're stressed, and even if it's a small thing that you think is a past, it's very good idea to learn how to cope with it. Because the more you cope with your stress, the less stress you will get, believe it or not. Your body will get used to understanding it's a temporary, it comes in, it goes, and you will not develop that chronic illness later on that causes by stress. So I used this 4 strategy when I was going through a difficult time with my dog that being sick, and my whole family was so upset about it. So one of the things that I did every single day is meditation. Now, for those of you who know me, I've been doing meditation for about 20 years now. I never miss meditation. I meditate every single day, but there's different type of meditation. The most common meditation is that when you sit down and your life is just doing okay, you're well, your family is well, everything is going smooth, and you sit down and you clear your head and you thank God for everything that you have, for your health, for your family, for your wealth, for your success, and everything around that. But then when the rough time comes in and you're really stressed, there's another type of meditation that you have to do, and I did that, is to do the similar thing, to sit down and calm your body, relax your mind, quiet your mind. Only this time, think about that whatever situation you're in, and however difficult that situation it is gonna pass. And you have to remind yourself, and you have to say to yourself that it is okay. It happens, it will pass, and whatever comes with that, I will deal with it. Don't try to control the past. Don't try to analyze the future, and just say to yourself that it's this moment. I deal with it today. Tomorrow, it will be better. And you have to do that as long as it takes. It took me 3 weeks to realize my dog is going to be okay after 3 weeks, just to start like see a little light in the tunnel. But I remind myself every single day. I got up and I meditate and I said to myself, you know, it's going to be okay. I analyze it. I said, worst case scenario, best case scenario. I kind of prepared myself for everything. So it makes it a little bit easier. Doesn't make it better, but it makes it a little bit easier to cope with the stress, a stress that came in that you were not prepared for. So that's one of the things that I highly recommend for you guys to do. If you haven't started meditation, please do so. It's amazing. It has so much health benefit. It is so good for you, for your body, for your mind, for your feeling, for your thoughts, and everything else. So I have a whole instruction of meditation. If you guys don't know how to do it, and if you want to start doing it, and my website, you can go to valerymolone.com, and you'll see I write a lot of blogs about meditation, and I actually have a program that I teach meditation for people that wants to learn meditation, because it's very, very important to implement meditation in your life. So that's number one strategy. Number two strategy is, and I know this is a very simple one and it's the hardest one, to get a good night's sleep. And as we all know that when we get stressed, the first thing that we do, we lose sleep, because your mind is going 100 miles an hour. You don't know what the outcome of the situation is, and you get very, very stressed and you lose sleep. But it's very, very important to remind yourself that it's important to have at least between 6 to 8 hours of sleep. And if you can't do that, try to do at least 5. When the situation is not going your way, when you're stressed, try to give yourself at least minimum of 5 hours of sleep. Now, you might not going to be able to sleep at night because your mind is going million miles an hour thinking about the situation, or thinking about the problem, or thinking about something that happened. But try to do short naps during the day. If you can do it, you know, try to take out, like on lunchtime, try to do a 20 minutes nap, or coming after work, at least go to bed early, even though it's early. Try to get some sleep, because if you get up in the middle of the night, at least you're making for those sleep if you can. But I highly recommend for those of you, if you're drinking, have a glass of wine before you go to bed. That will calm your brain and stop those noises from your head, and it just calms you down and it gives you sleep. Now, I really normally drink. I drink occasionally, but when I was going through this, I made sure that I had to have at least a sip or two of wine every night before I went to bed. That kind of calmed my mind down, because I was thinking about all these stuff. What if something happened? What do I do? What if he doesn't get better? So these voices were going in my head. So you have to learn to find a way to cope with that. And then if you can drink a glass of wine, and stop drinking coffee or tea, anything caffeinated, or soda at 5 o'clock. And for those days, try not to even have caffeine, because you know you're not going to be able to sleep at night. So if you can avoid those, try to get as much as sleep as possible, because it rejuvenates your body, it rejuvenates your mind. So when you get up the next day, you have a better idea how to deal with the situation, how to make the best of it, how to make a best decision for whatever problem that you're going through. So that's number two. Make sure that you get good night's sleep. Strategy number three is simple, but I find it very, very helpful. Do something, like get out of your head. Do something out of the ordinary, meaning that, you know, we all have our rituals. We get up in the morning, we go to work, we come home, we spend time with the family. So every day, Monday to Friday, we have a ritual, and then weekend comes in and we do our weekend stuff that we're supposed to do. In time like this, when you get stressed and something is going on in your life, it's always a good idea to do something that out of the ordinary. I love gardening. So do something with your hands, like painting, crafting, cooking, gardening, whatever you desire, whatever you think that is good for you. Try to put that in your daily routine, at least, even if it's temporary. Because believe it or not, when you work with your hand, it takes focus away from your mind. So you're not really focusing too much on your thoughts. So what that does is put attention to your hands. So whatever you're doing, whether you're crafting or painting or sewing or whatever hobby that you have that has to do with your hands. and cooking, cleaning, gardening. Those are like, it takes attention from your head. So you're not going to be too much stressed, because now at least for about half an hour or 40 minutes a day, your attention from your thought goes to your hand, and it gives you that sense of calmness to your body. And when you have that sense of calmness to your body, then you know you can handle the situation much better. So you're not like all wired up and stressed and aggravated and agitated that what's the outcome of the situation is going to be. So that's number 3, and it's very, very important. Number 4, and this is my favorite, is get in touch with your spiritual side. You don't have to be a religious person. You don't have to believe in God if you don't. If you do, that's good for you. If you're not, that's okay too. Try to get to the spiritual part of yourself, to the belief that you have, to the biggest power that's out there, and then trust and pray. And pray that everything will work out the way he or she designed it. And a lot of people are forgetting to do that because we're so busy with our life when we get stressed. One of the things that helps me, that I actually have a meditation bead. It's a beads that I hold in my hand, which I told you guys before. Strategy number 3, you can do something with your hand. I hold the beads and then I just go through it. I go through it. As I go through it, I pray and I get in touch with my spiritual side. And I say to myself that everything is going to be okay. And believe it or not, that actually gives you such a sense of calmness, such a sense of confidence and calmness of like, it's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. And I did that for 3 weeks every single day. And it got me through the most difficult time that I had. So I know it sounds maybe very simple, but it really is effective and it really does work. So try to sit down in a quiet place or before you go to bed and just get in touch with your heart. Get in touch with your emotion. Get in touch with the bigger power of the universe that made you, that created you, that you're here. So just remind yourself how amazing this world is, how amazing this universe is. So if we cannot, and some of the stuff we haven't even have an answer for it yet. So if we have this much knowledge and we have seen this much, everything's going to be okay. And you have to remind yourself, and you have to believe it in your heart, and you have to put your hand in your heart and believe in and pray to God to give you the strength to make you go through this situation. And these are the 4 strategies that I used for the 3 weeks that my dog was sick. He was in a hospital and he lost the function of his leg. And the doctor told me that he's not going to get better. And now he's walking and now he's okay. I mean, he's not himself like he was before, but all my prayers and all my strategy that I work, it really did work. And I wanted to share this with you guys. For those of you if going through something in your life, whether it's small or big, these are the strategy you should use. It doesn't cost you any money. It's just your time with yourself, with your thoughts, with your emotion, and with your prayers. And believe in yourself that it will come true, and it does. And you have to do as much as possible to get through that hump. And once you get through that hump, everything else is going to be okay. And that gives you confidence that in the future in life, if something happened, you know that you have a way to cope with it. It's not the best way. It's not going to make the problem go away, but at least it will give you some sense of calmness that, okay, I can do this. I've done it before. I can do this. And I find this very, very helpful. And I couldn't wait to come back to work and share this with you guys. And hope you apply it in your life. Hope your lives are not as stressful, but if it is, try these 4 strategy. It really, really works. Let's just go through it one more time for you to remember and to understand and take time to do it. Number 1, try to meditate. Start meditating as soon as possible. Even if your life is great, even if everything is going great for you, start meditating. It's amazing how much you learn about yourself and other people around you. Number 2, try to get a good night's sleep. Make sure that you take a good night's sleep. Start stopping drinking coffee at 5 o'clock. Maybe we can have a glass of wine, or maybe even if you take a sleeping pill, just that night to sleep and clear your head. It's very important to get a good night's sleep. Number 3, try to do something out of the ordinary, something that you don't do every single day. It's just that occupies your mind as something new and you wanted to experiment it, and that gets your attention away from that particular problem a little bit, at least for a little bit amount of time. And number 4, and finally, try to get in touch with your spiritual side. I hope this helped you guys. I thank you so much for watching my video. If you need any help on any of this area, please visit my website, valerymolone.com. I have a lot of information about this and more. Till next time, have a great day.